Hello and welcome to this episode of David Carter's The Catalyst Podcast, where we have conversations that provoke positive change. I love being a catalyst and having conversations with people who are doing great things to make a difference and an impact in the lives of people for the good. And I'm so excited to be here today with someone I've known for a number of years. I won't tell how many because that would date myself. But Laura Perry is someone I've known for years. I call her Dr. Laura. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing fine, Pastor Carter. Doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here. She is a founder. You are the founder of Conquering Walls Counseling Agency, LLC.
Yes, sir.
But you're also a preacher.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that, the intersectionality between therapy and biblical principles. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I think that they intersect well because a lot of the teachings that I have learned over the years, the different modalities of therapy.
Wait. Okay, I'm an educated person. You know, I have two Ivy League degrees. Help me out with that word for our listeners.
Okay.
What does modality mean?
It's the different types of therapy.
Okay.
Like you were asking me about what does CBT mean? What does dialectical behavioral therapy mean? What does solution focus mean?
She's not speaking in tongues, y'all.
It means the different types of therapy that we use with clients that come with different issues. So CBT may not be the only thing that I use with someone that has deep trauma, like that's been through a lot of different things.
Well, what is CBT?
CBT is called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
And the people that develop this type of therapy believe that our thoughts, our actions, and our beliefs all work together. And if we could change one of them, we could change the whole trajectory of everything that's going on in our life. If we could change how we think, because there's a thing called thinking traps that we put ourselves in. And a major one is called shoulds. We should all over ourselves all the time. I used to be a big shoulder.
You did.
We should all.
Lou Rawls had a song, "If I Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda."
Yeah, exactly. When you should yourself, you set yourself up for failure.
And why is that?
Because there's a comparison.
Okay.
I should have done this. I should have done that. But in actuality, and this connects with how God is, everything happens when and how it's supposed to. It happens in His time, not our time. So we have to really look at things and live in the moment, not worrying about what's happening tomorrow or what happened yesterday. But we have to focus on where we are so that we can get to those next moments, right?
Okay. So what's that called again? The thinking trap?
Thinking trap.
Thinking trap.
Because we believe, when we get stuck and focused on our way of thinking, we believe this one thing is like a tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is one as well, but we're so busy looking the way that we believe, we miss all the other things or resources that are out there for us to help us to get to where we're trying to go.
All right. And that's good. And think about the intersectionality between the spirit realm or being a believer and then also in therapy. But look, okay. Let's be honest, okay? Growing up, therapy was not something that black folk did.
Yeah, what happens in this house, stay in this house.
What happens in this house, stays in this house.
You ain't crazy.
Whatever happens, you ain't crazy. Yeah, and if someone said you need therapy, no, I ain't crazy.
Exactly.
Right? That was it. And it would be, well, let's lay hands on you, right?
Yeah.
And let's pray about it.
Yes.
And it was always associated with demonic activity. But there was also a stigma. So how has that changed, or has it changed? Is there still some hangover from that kind of stigma is it something that's just part of the African American cultural experience, or is it something that's you see as something that's universal? But I do know what happens in our.
I think it's universal, but it's most associated with us because we hear it, we grew up with it. It's still a part of our community, and we're still battling it right now. A lot of times you hear still what happens in this house stays in this house, and honestly, the things that are happening in the house is the reason that we have a lot of 12-year-old, 55-year-olds running around, or 15-year-old, 30-year-olds running around.
12-year-old, 55-year-old. Break that down.
They're stuck at the age 12 where their trauma happened, and they have not matured past that, but they're 55, but they're still acting 12. they're 30 years old, but still acting 15 where they received the trauma that they experienced. You know what I mean? Mama did whatever she did or said what she said, or daddy touched me, or whoever did whatever to me. People are stuck in that. I remember when I met you.
You do.
Yeah, I was stuck in mine. And I mean, I had to go through a lot of treatment to get past that trauma to be
Well,
able
I didn't
to.
cause the trauma.
No, you didn't cause
I
it.
didn't cause the trauma.
but you helped me to get there though, because we talked about it. You might not remember, but I remember a lot of things. I'm like an elephant; I'll never forget them. But but yeah, I was one of those people, and it took several years for me to get past that and deal with that trauma, because I didn't want to be crazy. I didn't want to be called crazy. I wouldn't, even though I was in the field of helping, I wasn't a counselor yet, but I was still in the mental health field, and I didn't want to be called crazy. So that was the reason that I would not get the help that I needed.
You know, and hearing what you said, you know, about how I helped, and I bet if we had some more conversation or conversation offline, it would come back to me. But for me in counseling, you know, as a pastor, because I had to do it so much,
Yeah.
I would have a conversation with someone. Not that I would forget about it,
Yeah.
but I would put it over here. Because I
understand.
couldn't, you know, if I wore all that, I'd be worn down from all of those.
And you need to be on my couch.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but it's like physician, heal thyself.
Yes.
But just some of the
Yes.
things you're talking about, I think would be helpful for pastors, persons who are caregivers, who are helping other people. Everybody needs. I believe this, and I'm speaking to myself in this. You know, everybody needs some type of therapy
Yeah.
to help them process some of the things, because strong people internalize things. Why? Because we can handle it.
Yeah. I mean, think about the influx of suicide that we've seen in our community with pastors and things like that, holding all that stuff in and not having a place to let it go. Therapy is just a conversation. It starts out as a conversation. When I have clients who are reluctant to deal with therapy, I ask them, just give me 4 sessions. And if you give me 4 sessions, and after that 4 sessions you don't want to come back, then we'll call it a day. We'll end it right there. I won't
So
hold
for
you to
those
it.
who might be, whatever issues they're having, what could you say to them to encourage them to have a conversation, to seek out therapy? Because there are a lot of people who are listening, and those who are going to be watching, I'm sure they have something they're dealing with that they haven't told anybody about. And they wrestle with it, and sometimes they might have nightmares about it or recurring dreams about it. What could you say to those people to encourage them to seek out some assistance?
Yeah, it's kind of like you said, everyone has something that they're dealing with. And for me, having a conversation about it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That C word that we heard in our community so much does not apply.
What word is that?
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does not mean that you're crazy because you need to talk to someone. It just means that you need a different opinion on how to process it. And that's all we do. That's all we do.
That's very helpful. A different opinion on how to process it.
A different perspective, looking at it from a different way, and even giving you tools to help you in processing it appropriately so that it doesn't affect other things in your life. Like you see people who have a lot of stress at work and then they can't function at home well, breaking up their relationships, not interacting with their children well. All those kinds of things come from holding things in and not being able to process them, not being able to release them. And so I think that you can have your therapist in Jesus. I got a shirt to say that too. You can have your therapist in Jesus too. I got a shirt to say that too.
No, because he's a great physician.
Yes, and Jesus had people with him. He had therapists and physicians with him.
Jesus, Holy Spirit always works, and God has always done this. He works through people.
Yes. Yes.
Through his emissaries or his ambassadors. He empowers and anoints people to help and then to bless other people.
Yeah.
And this is just another way. Also, by the way, Reverend Dr. Laura is a phenomenal preacher.
Wow. Thank you.
A phenomenal motivational speaker.
I received that.
You ain't got to receive it. It's all on you. You got it already. And so if you're looking for a preacher, a motivational speaker, get in contact with Dr. Laura. We'll make sure that all of her contact information is there because with the all the things she has, I call it arrows in your quiver. All the different modalities. Look at how I did that.
All right.
All those different,
I see the connect.
all those different modalities.
Yeah.
And you can minister and assist people in all these different ways. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You look like you're gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, and even in therapy, if you feel that therapy is in some way not connected to God, I pray with my clients. I pray before, during, and after the session.
What if they don't want you to pray? You pray anyway?
No, I do not pray for them in their face, but because I can only speak for my practice. My practice is led by him. So yes, I have all this education, but I don't know what the client is going to bring to me every day. So I can prepare. I prepare what I want to work on with them, but usually he has his own thing that he wants to do too. So I pray that he has his way, just like with anything else. And if you're looking for that, you can look for a Christian therapist. It doesn't. They're not necessarily divided. Like, and I believe that where people miss out on it is that they feel like just praying for it is going to help. But think about it. God gives us resources to get the help that we need. Just like a regular doctor, we're there to help with those chemical imbalances that people have that are called mental health.
Wait, chemical imbalances.
Yes.
Chemical imbalances.
In the brain.
In the brain.
Yes.
That's a physical, actual,
yes,
real thing. And there are different ways of treating that.
Yes.
Or addressing that.
Yes.
And what are some of those ways?
Some of it is with psychotherapy, which is what I do. Some of it is with medication, which a psychiatrist would provide. Finding out what some of the diagnosis is. Psychologists provide the testing for those things and determine what treatment you would need for that. And they also provide counseling as well. So those are things that you could do. There's hospitalization. There's partial hospitalization where you go to the hospital for half of the day and then you're home with your family. But there's different things that are out there to help with all of that.
For chemical imbalances.
Yes.
Because it's a very real thing.
Yes.
It's not something that, it's not somebody's crazy. There is a chemical imbalance that sometimes causes manic behavior.
And it comes from like stress can cause that, heredity. It can be something that's passed down for generations. It could be trauma, experiencing something. Children especially experience trauma much easier than adults do.
Children experience trauma much more than adults do. Is that what you said?
Yeah, they could be traumatized much easier than an adult. So if like I had a case where a child and her mother were in a car accident. The mom was fine, didn't have any trauma from it, but this child could not ride in a car, could not hear about car accidents, could not travel with her family. She played ball. She couldn't do that anymore, couldn't fly for a long time before we got engaged, and she was referred to me, and we worked together for about a year, and now she's doing much better with that. But they would go on family trips, and it would be horrific. She just couldn't sit in a car anymore because of that accident. And it wasn't even that much. It wasn't even that big of a deal. The car was not hurt that much, but just being in that accident on the freeway caused her that much trauma. And she was seriously had an imbalance because of that. And so now she's doing much better, but we went through psychotherapy. She had medication and all those kinds of things. And now she's not doing the medication anymore and she's doing well.
And I want to encourage people because in my family, just being, transparent, in my lineage, depression
yes
runs in my family, in my lineage. And I didn't know what depression was until it was diagnosed.
Right.
Because I would, I had certain behaviors or I would sometimes just shut down and didn't want, I would, pull the shades down and wouldn't want any light in there because I just thought that I just needed to rest. Spoke with my doctor and he said, I think you need to, go talk with someone about this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll pray about it, right?
Yeah.
I'll pray about it. I need to get direction on this, because I'm anointed, right?
Yeah.
Physician can heal himself. But I went to, to the doctor and please, I'm saying this to help people because if I didn't get help, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah.
you know,
Depression is really easy to sneak up on you because it doesn't look like what they portray it to be on
what you
TV.
think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
it it comes in so many different ways. It can affect you have irritability because most people,
Check.
yeah, most people think that you're tired and you just sleep all the time and you're just sitting there looking like this. No, that's not a part of it. There's seasonal affective disorder too, which is a type of depression where, like right now, we're moving into fall, and I'll see that with
What
a
you
lot of my
say?
clients. And this weather here is it just causes that depressive state because it's always gloomy. There's no sunshine. I recommend people get sun lamps. You can buy the sun lamps on Amazon. Um, make sure that you have a regular routine where you're moving and getting activity in, even when you don't feel like it. You
My
know,
doc and not
yeah,
not my doctor. My doctor told me. He said, Pastor. He said, sometimes just get out of bed.
yeah, just move.
Just get up. You know. And so in doing that, he said, because there are chemicals in the body
Yeah.
and hormones and different things are released, endorphins, I guess the term is. But I do want to I want to encourage people. It's okay to take medicine.
Yeah,
It's okay to go to therapy for your own mental health
yeah.
and for the people around you.
Yep. And a lot of times the meds aren't meant to be forever. They're not meant to be they're meant to be there to take the edge off until you have the tools to manage this issue on your own or with the therapist. Because a lot of times people come in and they're so depressed and they're so anxious or whatever is going on with them that they can't even receive the work that we're doing, giving them homework, going through, because I believe in homework. Nobody leaves my office without homework every week.
I hate homework.
But it's necessary. It's necessary because when I was first in therapy, I would be in there and I would be so gung ho, ready to do all this stuff and leave and can't remember nothing she said. So now I believe in the homework, and I go to my therapist every Friday, happily, happily, happily. So but just doing all of these things will help you, especially the medication. So it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, and like you said, it's not an ongoing thing
No.
necessarily. But even if it is an ongoing thing,
Yeah, it's okay.
take your medicine.
Yes.
If there's any sick among you,
Yes.
call for the elders of the church, right?
Yes.
And it says anointing them with oil, and then the
Yeah.
faith, effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous will avail much.
Yeah.
But also, it really means if they're sick among, call for the elders of the church. It says it talks about that means take your medicine.
Yes.
Do what's necessary so you can
Yes.
function and be the best vessel that you can be for God.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Conquering Walls, counseling agency.
Yes.
How'd you come up with that name?
I was talking with a friend of mine, and I'll tell him that I mentioned him today. He's somebody that I was in an acting group with, and he did, work with websites and stuff. And
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Also an actress. She does
stage plays.
stage plays. What else? What don't you do?
I don't know.
Oh, she sings. A fabulous singer. This multi-talented, multi-gifted. I'm sorry. So this person. I digress. I do that sometimes.
Z.F. Taylor
Okay.
helped me to come up with the name because I was saying I want to do something with walls and knocking walls down or something, and we came up with Conquering Walls Counseling Agency. I will say, and I alluded to this earlier, this is not what I wanted to do, though. I never saw myself here. Never.
But I think there was someone who did see you here.
Yes. Yes.
And who might that be?
God, because it was all about him. It was everything that happened to me. And at the time that the business came about, it was over a 2-year period. And we were, I was you were in my life at the time regularly, and I was going through something, and for about a year, I slept sitting up. I don't know if you knew that. I don't think I told you that. But I slept in the same spot, sitting up every night for a whole year. And during that time, God would be talking to me about just different things because I kept saying, God, why am I here? Like, what is this about? I don't know what you want me to do. I'm tired because I was tired. And I was in therapy at the time, and she was talking me through everything. And a young lady that I met when I first moved here called me and asked me to help her with her business. I and I said, yeah, sure, no problem, nothing. And she was like, well, I don't have any money to pay you because it's a retroactive contract, but I can offer you free office space. I'm like, I don't do office space. I don't know, but I'll do it. And so I got the office space, and then another church member was able to get me free office furniture that I have now. This furniture was nice. Like good stuff. It looked brand new, but it had been in the office forever. So put that in there, and and then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna look into getting my own clients. Come to find out, Children's had already set me up with everything I needed. All I had to do was give the insurance companies and everything my information.
So you take
And
insurance.
yes, I take all insurances.
She takes all insurances. She's she is licensed. She's clinically trained. She's sensitive to the move of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And this is conquering walls, counseling agency. What sets you guys apart? Okay, because you started your own thing,
Yeah.
but you could have gotten your credentials and then gone to work for another,
Yeah.
for Wexner or for Nationwide or forever. Why start something else, something on your own?
Because God said so.
Oh, so you're just being obedient to the move
Yeah.
of the Spirit.
Yeah, he did. He did. He said so. Because even after I started, I was like, oh, this is my shoe money. I'm just have 8.
Well, your
I'ma
shoe money.
Yeah, I'm going to just do 8 clients, and I'm going to be able to buy me some red bottoms. I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to do that and not touch my bill money. You know what I mean? Not touch my savings, not touch this. That's what it was for. I had 8 clients. I was happy. Fast forward a year later, I had knee surgery. I was working at Children's Hospital as a forensic
So
interviewer.
you could be wearing them shoes anyway,
Yeah,
see?
yeah, exactly. But I was working at Children's as a forensic interviewer, and I left to go on leave. And while I was out on leave, some people found out that I had my business, and because I never told anybody at work other than my boss. I did everything the right way, right? But people found out, and what I find that sometimes there's jealousy and there's envy and different things like that. And so I had seen it happen to other people. They told untruths. I'll just put it like that. They lied on me.
They lied on me.
They lied
They
on me.
scandalized your
Yeah.
name.
And so by the time I went back to work, Children's was saying I had to choose between my business and them. And so for 3 weeks, I was on what they called administrative leave. This was the day after I returned from knee surgery. And I prayed and cried in my office. I was like, God, I don't know what to do because, I have
You prayed and cried in your office. What office?
in my office at Children's Hospital
Okay.
for 3 weeks,
Okay.
asking God, what did he want me to do? Because I'm like, God, I have the insurance. I make the most money. I think we need this money. And the last day, my boss came down and told me, well, Laura, I'm sorry, but they're saying you have to make a choice. And I heard as clear as day, write the letter. And I wrote the resignation letter. And by the end of the day, I had 10 more clients.
Look at God.
By the end of the month, I had a wait list.
Look at God.
Yeah. And it was just, and guess where the first referral came from?
Where?
Children's.
How about that? But see, they knew who you were.
Yeah. And they still refer people to me.
And they knew what
So,
you were. They
yeah.
knew what you were capable, and they knew what type of person you were. Speaking of modalities, of different ways
Yeah.
of therapy and behavioral and cognitive, cognitive behavioral therapy. Look at that. I
Yeah,
remember one
yeah,
of them.
you remembered it.
There's another modality that you use, and it's she has a book. Count It All Peace.
Yes.
It's an adult coloring and meditation journal developed by Laura Davis Perry. Tell me about this coloring book.
The coloring book was meant because I have so many people who struggle with finding coping strategies to help them when they are struggling with anxiety or depression or whatever, or just can't figure things out and need to meditate and pray about it, right? And so I love numbers, and I wanted to do a coloring book. And
Would you love numbers? I was going to ask you something, but go ahead.
And so I researched some things and I came up with this. And so this book takes you from strong to new beginnings. Each number has a meaning and it's associated with different words.
Okay.
And so I went in and found out some of those. and I associate each number with their meaning, and when I say strong, number 1 means strong. So you're starting out with strength. And the idea of the book is you can do it daily, monthly, or weekly. Okay. I suggest weekly because that gives you 10 weeks to work through all of those things. When you come up with a new concept, you need a little bit of time to process it, right? And so what I say is like the number 1, can I hold the book?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Your book.
And I knocked it down.
Look at you. There you go, dear.
Yeah. So like for the number 1, for instance,
this is story time with Dr. Laura.
So it says, the number 1 is the root of opportunity in our lives. It's a symbol of confidence, power, and action. It pushes us to look at our current circumstances and realize that we have the power to turn them into anything we wish, even if we're afraid. The 1 inspires us to take control of our future and embrace new beginnings. And the word is associated with independent, goal-oriented, and innovative. And I go through and explain those. And this is what the 1 looks like. So I would say do it 3 times each week. Each one, 3 times a week. Color this part first, color this the second day, and this the third. And as you're coloring, meditate on these words. You can even look the words up in the Bible and associate them with scripture, right? And then in this area, when you're after you're done meditating, write what God gives you. How have you had to show your strength this week? Or how is your strength being tested? When were you not as strong as you thought you could be, and how can you change that? This is what that's meant to do, so that you can move from strength to new beginnings. Okay.
Come on,
all right.
I think that'll preach. So you can move from strength to new beginnings.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Laura. Yeah, I know you're working on the research and all that, but I'm speaking those things.
Yeah.
Into Dr.
I
Laura
appreciate it.
Perry.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute joy and a pleasure meeting with you and speaking with you. So how can people get in contact with you on social media?
Social media, everything is Conquering Walls Counseling Agency on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. We have a store. You can click on our link on TikTok. We sell merchandise. We sell this book.
We got Dr. Laura merch.
Yeah, we have. Can I pull out your gift? I'm going to give you what we call a Sensi bag. And the Sensi bag helps you to calm yourself using your 5 senses. And so it has something to taste, touch, smell, feel, and hear in here. All of the senses,
All the senses.
And we have different things, but we're on every social media. If you want to get services, just look up our website, which is Conquering Walls Counseling Agency as well. And you fill out the inquiry form and you can get an appointment with us.
Dr. Laura, it's been a pleasure and a privilege.
Yes.
This is David Carter for David Carter is a Catalyst podcast. You can find us on Spotify or on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And I'm so grateful for you being here tonight today.
Thank you.
And please be sure, counseling is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
This is David Carter is a Catalyst podcast. Thank you.